Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to talk about uranium, one of my favorite sectors. When you're talking about energy, you're talking about uranium as one of my top picks in energy. I like oil and natural gas too, and coal. Coal is working its way up in my favorability as well. So uranium is doing well today. We've got a good little break behind me. I'll talk about it here shortly. It's improving today. It looks really good. Good buying pressure, and it's overall looking pretty good. Again, this is just my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice. Seek a financial advisor if you guys have questions. I'm here to help you guys out, read charts, and you guys can make your own decisions on what you want to do. So here we go. Let's dive in here and let's see what the charts are saying. So I've got the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust behind me. We've got the pattern. We had a little leaky out the bottom here. Had some problems with this. I call it the moronic virus or Omicron, however you want to say it. I don't know how you pronounce it. Usually you get three. You get three humps. 1, 2, 3. Well, this could be 2 actually, and this is the third. And we could grab the wrong line like I did there. I meant to grab this one. We could do a little bit of this going on, if you know what I mean. And what I can do is delete this out and then grab number 3 and put number 3 over there. Number 2 is this whole one there, and we could do something like that. And what we're doing right now is we're playing the game of just the tip, I guess. This is just the tip poking out, turtle heading out here a little bit. We closed above the downtrend line. Notice that? We break this and we can close up here. If we get a little bit more momentum where I'm like, yep, this is definitely a clear break, because we're right there at the, we're playing the game of just the tip right now. And I don't like playing that game. I need to see full engagement to get through here. And I think if we get that, our projected move of this guy here moved over is about a $17-ish move. So it'd be where it's at today up to about $17. We could see a very good move right in front of us in the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. So what we're doing here is we're playing with the resistance line here. We could see a good, strong move higher here at any point. And I would be positioning and buying companies myself. Actually, I'm already positioned. I've already purchased mine before this day because I saw it occurring. Looking at URNM. So here's the 5-year there. We've been cycling above this support line. We had a little bit of a pullback. We squeezed up. We had the candle of death or the bearish engulfing right here. We had a projected move right to about where it hit. So everything worked out pretty well with the projection and everything. We're starting to come back up. We're getting a little bit more buying pressure. We were up 5% today, looking at the candlesticks on the daily basis. So these are daily candlesticks. The volume's still there. We pulled on back. I'm looking for volume to step in. We had a little bit of volume. I'd like to see a little bit more volume. We're following the pattern that I drew in there just for the heck of it, just by happenstance. But we pulled back. We broke the line. We came back and did a little bit of a retest. We had a little bit of sideways momentum dissipation. So we had good momentum down, dissipated the momentum, and now we're coming back up. So it looks good, and it finished quite strong today, which means the momentum finished strong, and maybe we can continue this momentum tomorrow. All we can do is hope for that momentum to continue. And Bannerman here is looking quite good. And what I'm looking for when I look at this stuff, guys, is I look for a move lower, sideways, and then we're probably going to come back up. And that's what I'm looking for in this type of motion. I don't know what color to choose. Let's do white. White sticks out quite a bit. So see how we came down? This momentum was here, and it kind of worked that momentum off, go sideways a little bit. Now we're starting our way to work up. And hopefully that works that way. Hopefully that momentum can continue. We've got really low volume, though. That's the only thing. We got low volume, but all we can do is hope that we can get moving here. Goviax is doing that same type of thing. What you're seeing here is you can kind of see this downward motion. Then you see this kind of this squeezing up. And then you see the big pattern there, which is a bullish engulfing pattern there, which is signaling a move higher. So this right here is a bullish engulfing of the day before it, the opening and closing price, and we got our launch higher with the squeeze up into this pattern. Looks good. Global Atomic, again, if you kind of look at this, you've got that same squeezing up pattern. You're coming there and you're coming here, and then you broke out. So it's downward, sideways, break. So that looks good. Same thing here, a squeezing up into this pattern, a bullish engulfing pattern, and a pop higher today. Now, how long will this last? We'll have to find out. I bought down here. I'm holding on. I'm not really doing anything. I'm just going to hold on to my shares and ride it. Looking at Pure Point Uranium from a big picture view, this is a low risk entry point in this area here. Very low risk down here because you've broken the downtrend. You've come on up. The volume's stepping in. I like it right in here. So it's a good spot. And remember, this is an exploration company, high risk. You're speculating, a position size appropriately. This isn't something that I would be, dumping my life savings in. This is a sprinkle, a little sprinkle here and there, have a small position size in it, because if something blows up, you've got exposure to it, to the upside. Or if it blows to the downside too, small exposure. Here's Deep Yellow. Deep Yellow, nice, good buying pressure. Again, you can see my squiggly lines in there of us kind of going sideways and then an eventual break. But yeah, downward motion, sideways motion, upward motion. That's what I look for. We had nice, good resistance all through here. That looks good. Take that back off. Paladin Energy, looking at the big picture, we're starting to get some momentum into the sector. This thing is right at the resistance line. So what I would do is if you guys, we've got the volume kicking in here. This is a lot of volume. Me personally, I would buy it before this break, and I would be expecting a big move to move here over the next few days, weeks, whatever it is. To break through this resistance line and move on up. Sky Harbor. Again, we've got this big old line coming through. We broke out of it. We came back into the pattern, and our highs here, our lows continue to step up. And if we make a low here, you can see these lows stepping up into the resistance line. What I would do if it were me is, if you like Sky Harbor, you checked out their website, their presentation. We've got volume stepping in. I like it here, so I would be a buyer. Next Gen Energy. Let's look at this guy here. Squeezing on up. We broke to the downside. It looks like we're still kind of chopping around. We might have a little bit more choppy before we move up. And there's nothing wrong there. We do have some support coming across here. So, I would be buying, I would have bought right at this support level, about 420. Canalaska, looks like we tried to do a run today, but it got some sellers in there. But we're right below this massive pattern. And we're just chilling there. The volume is massive. Look at this volume all through here. Big old volume. People are accumulating this. They're expecting a big run higher. So what would I do? I'm looking for the lows. Low, low, and probably a low somewhere in here. And even if it comes down here, that would be a low, depending on how this thing plays out. It could dip down, whatever it is. It's not the end of the world. I would do a little cost average in, and I like it here. And the pattern doesn't look too bad, because if you look at this pattern, we're squeezing up into a spot here. And yeah, we kind of had a little bit of a sell-off. We still had some sellers there, but again, I would be accumulating in this area if you like Canalaska uranium. This is a good low spot right before a massive chart pattern break. And it's not going to break overnight. We got time. No big deal. My boy base load. Hopefully they found the mother load. You know what I mean? Here's my cool little drawing that I've got. There we go, doing the bouncing. But again, I'm looking for downward, sideways, and then eventually up. And it looks like we've got something there. And we've got support all through, kind of through here. So that's base load. And looking at the big picture view, what we're basically putting in is a cup and handle. You have a lead-in pattern. You create a cup. And then you create the handle. And there's your, and we got to put some steam. There's just some steam on your cup here. And then you got the handle here that you can, there's your handle there. So it's your big old cup, handle, pattern. And you're going to see a big old break at some point. And what you're doing is you're buying it on the bottom of the handle. That's what we're at, the bottom of the handle. So I like it there. Fission 3.0, big old downtrend break. What do we see? Big old volume. What would I do? I would buy. Finding value, down, sideways, and then potentially up is what I'm looking for. Because what you do is usually come down and you consolidate, which means you're finding support at this area. We're finding value here. We're finding support is what I'm saying. So Vision 3.0 looks good. We're doing the same thing. We're finding some support. We want to hold here and start breaking back up. You could look at this as, well, I wouldn't say this is a reverse flag pattern, but it's. I think we're finding support. Hopefully we can get moving here to the upside. This one doesn't look as good as some of the other ones, who have finished strong. Camco looks much better. It's finishing strong. It looks great. I wish we had a little bit more volume there, but you know what? I'll take it. Squeezed up, pulled back, sideways, and we're starting to make our way higher. Gazettum Prom, looking okay. Broken downtrend. It's probably going to do the sideways thing before moving on up. So it's looking good. Pen MF. Let's zoom in a little bit. Or let's zoom out a little bit. Big old downtrend. We broke the downtrend. We're coming up. It's flopping around. We got the volume kicking in. I think it looks fine. It looks fine. Boss Energy. Again, we squeezed up. Had like a fake breakout. Came back down to regroup ourselves, and we're making our way higher. Looks good. Here's Lotus Resources. Again, squeezed up, broke down, and we're probably going to create this U shape moving up. So it looks okay. I, Roy, me, Roy. No, we all love you, Roy. Yes, exactly. Coming on up, squeezed up. Broke to the downside. What do we have? Downward, sideways. Let's see if we can get some momentum up. I like how we squared this thing up and it looks pretty good. Again, downward, sideways, up. Bigger pattern. So downward, sideways, and then up. And we'll see what happens when we get up here, if we can break these highs through here. Don't know for sure, but we'll find out. Encore Energy. Squeezing up, breaking down, and we're coming into this pattern where we're just kind of squeezing up here. We're going to have a break either up or down here at any second. And a lot of these are breaking to the upside. I wouldn't see why it wouldn't go to the upside here, but we'll find out. You, me. Big old break, went to the upside. The moronic virus came, brought it back down, but I think the structural move wants to go higher. So I think this is looking good. It finished really strong here. Nice big up day. It looks fantastic, guys. Let's see this thing move on up. URG is looking good. Again, we got the downward motion, sideways motion, and then I'm looking for a move to the upside. So hopefully that can happen. UEC is already doing it. Good old 12.9% up day today, downward, sideways, moving on up. Buying pressure started here. Buying pressure came down. Small down days. It looks good to move on up. LEU, breaking out of this pattern. If you guys like it, you know, I would be sprinkling. Why would I be sprinkling here? We got the pattern that broke. Usually they hang out for a little bit. To the side down here, this is a descending wedge pattern. And usually this is a low risk entry point here. So, but we'll see. I mean, no one, you don't know the future for sure, but the probabilities of this squeezing, breaking to the upside, squiggling around a little bit, and then potentially moving up. I mean, something big would have to push this thing down. And again, guys, it can happen. Anything can happen. All we're playing with is with probabilities. Light bridge getting a little bit of sell off today. You break out, maybe you have a little bit of a pullback, and then hopefully we can take off. ISO energy, nice, good, strong buying pressure today, finishing strong. Let's get our way above this downtrend line, and I would be much more bullish on it. I'm bullish on it, but I'd be much more if we can break through that. Appia energy, 15.8% today, good, strong showing today. And it looks like we're trying to break through here. We're right at that resistance level of where we are at in this pattern. Could have been a false breakdown and then a big move up. Hopefully that's the case. DNN finishing strong today. It looks really good. I like how this thing squared it up and is turning back up. It looks good. And I am going to say this, guys. We could turn up and then turn back down some. So it's possible it could be a move down, a comeback up, and a retest of this line. And then we roll back over and fall back down. That is possible. I'm not saying that it's still in the cards because this is a big pattern. This is a big pattern that could work its way lower if it does. And I'm not saying that's the probability. I'm just saying that it's a possibility. It's still possible because some of these, we do have patterns that are squeezing up that are ascending wedge patterns. But we could also have just gotten blown to the downside out of this pattern here. We could have just came to the downside from fear and we just kind of blew out a little bit, but the support's still there where we still break to the upside of the pattern. So we're still in this kind of funky area where it's difficult to read sometimes. Forum energy metals, we're just moving sideways. This thing could go either way at the moment. Anfield energy, I like it down here, guys. I like it a lot. We've got a low, a higher low, somewhere in this range. And even if it pulls back here, that'd be okay. And then we would break this big downtrend line. And I think we're going to see some good moves there. So that's Anfield energy. Looking at Laramide, big picture view, squeezed up. I liked it in this corner here for sure. Broke to the upside. Again, guys, sometimes we get a break, sometimes we get a pullback, and then we get a big move up. That is a possibility. Doesn't mean it will happen. Zooming in on it, it looks like we're trying to firm up a little bit. It is firming up. So, you know, it looks good. I think these will go higher if the Sprott Uranium Physical Trust and the spot price can rocket higher. Because if that thing takes off, I think all these will take off and we'll get a good move up. So watch Sprott, that Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, watch the spot price. We'll see where this thing goes, but it's looking good. These things are turning around. You're starting to see momentum start to come on up for the majority of these companies. So hopefully we can get a good run here. Hopefully we can get a good run. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, if you like these updates. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.